If you just look at net value, FC Barcelona is the second richest club in world football, only behind Manchester United. But with the absurd financial changes occurring in football, does this ranking tell the full story? In the past 15 years, football has undergone the greatest financial transformation in sports history. In 2003, Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich purchased the London club for £140 million and proceeded to inject unprecedented amounts of cash into developing a title-winning squad, initiating a tectonic shift in world football. At that time, the amount of foreign owners in the Premier League was 0, but since Abramovich, that number has shot up to a whopping 13 in 2018. In recent decades, investors' interest in football has skyrocketed, and the world's favorite sport is now being aggressively tapped by big business, billionaires, and even entire countries. But let's be clear, it's not as though the game was free of financial influence in the past. But now, the presence of foreign owners and investors is extreme, and is the biggest contributor of football's drastic economic changes. Transfer fees and salaries have also begun to represent the financial shift in the sport. In Premier League transfers alone, spending has increased from $334 million to $1.74 billion just in the last 15 years. The times have changed, and a club's financial status now holds more weight than ever. And with owners and investors developing more influence, the way of evaluating a club's financial strength goes well beyond simple metrics like net worth or revenue. So while a club like Barcelona's net worth may be off the charts, the modern game has become far too intertwined with the global economy for this to be seen as the best indicator of a club's financial status. How then can we truly evaluate clubs? Luckily for us, SoccerX have collaborated with numerous independent academics to help us make some sense of football's new world order, offering a modern analysis of the top 100 most economically powerful clubs in world football. Their detailed investigation analyzed 5 metrics deemed vital to determining a club's modern-day financial power. All variables have taken into consideration a club's respective league and club bylaws. For instance, owner potential investments is evaluated with respects to the club and league's ownership structure, their national league restrictions, and other appropriate regulations such as financial fair play. Each team is then given a Football Finance Index score, or FFI, to determine their ranking. Basically, the methodology is extremely complex, and quite frankly, not that exciting. But what is exciting are the results. Here is a list of the most financially powerful clubs in world football. Fueled by a very rich owner, high player assets, and the Premier League's recent massive broadcast deals, Manchester City tops the list. And in second place is Arsenal Football Company, club, who possesses an incredible amount of fixed assets and cash in the bank. Rounding out the podium is PSG, whose financial muscle is dominated by their owner, Qatar Sports Investment. While Qatar Sports Investment boasts $30 billion in worth, they are linked to the Emir of Qatar and to Qatar Investment Authority, which alone boasts an absurd $440 billion in assets. A notable surprise was Barcelona, who placed 13th on the list. Boasting the highest player asset value on the list, it was their high debt and relatively low amount of fixed assets that prevented them from being higher on the list. Real Madrid are the highest rated club on the list, not owned by a tycoon, instead being owned by the club's members. They come in at number 6. However, it's worth noting that this is largely due to their ownership model damaging their potential ownership investment, and if the decision was ever made to make the club available in the stock market, they would be the most valuable club in the world. But the biggest surprise might just lie at number 4, Guangzhou Evergrande Tabao FC. The investment in the Chinese Super League has been well documented and impossible to ignore, and Guangzhou's rise to financial power is led by their extremely high investment potential, which is the highest on the list. As for the top 30, the UK unsurprisingly contains the most teams with 8 clubs, and is followed in second by the much more surprising United States, who represents 5 clubs. And despite being quite possibly the most football-enthused continent in the world, South America is notably absent from anywhere near the top of the list. As its top representative, Brazilian side Clube Atlético Paranaense comes in at number 61. As shown by the rankings of clubs such as AC Milan or Ajax, history and culture don't seem to translate into modern financial power, meaning that clubs such as the LA Galaxy or RB Leipzig seemingly have more financial power and potential than some of the most famous and historic clubs in the world. For better or worse, it seems as though the business world is discovering just how valuable the world's game actually is. In the last 15 years, the rate at which money is being injected into football has been unparalleled, and it seems as though there is no slowing it down. Many teams on the list were afterthoughts only a short while ago, and now they are fighting amongst Europe's elite. Having money is not everything, not having it is. Kanye West.